Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. All right, getting out the house. Sky's looking pretty out here on this lovely MLK day. You know, happy MLK day to everyone. Definitely a great man to celebrate. Feeling pretty good, man. Just my leg feels a little funny. My foot, actually, I've had issues with that left foot. The ball of the foot, it's kind of been sore. I don't know if it's from workout soreness or what have you, but I had some issues with it about 6-7 days ago. Healed up and then started hurting again today. So just getting old, man. When you start getting up in your late 30s, early 40s, yeah, you're gonna feel soreness that don't even make no sense. So I think I'm starting to get to that point, but did good, had a good breakfast. Of course, I left the Laker video there for tonight's game. And, you know, laughed at Stephen A. Smith talking about the Cowboys, that kind of thing. You know, it's just a regular day. Good Monday. I'm supposed to be calling some people about my CalFresh thing, given the fact that they said that they don't have all the information that they need to read me up for CalFresh. So I'm going to do that some point in time today. Not doing it right now, though. Just figured I'd get out the house instead. And do my little walking around, see where the day takes me. You know, not a whole lot going on in my mind, to be honest with you. I took this long to turn on the camera. I walked for a good 25 minutes before turning it on, but figured I'd wish everybody a happy MLK Day. You know, it's a shame that a lot of times people want to use MLK's likeness to excuse nonsense that people do. They say, "Oh well, MLK turned the other cheek." No, MLK had a lot of different views, and that was one that you choose to hold on to. The reality was, MLK was out there on the front lines trying to see change. He was out there trying to make it so that everybody is safer in this world. And a lot of times people who don't want people to be all that safe in this particular country want to use MLK as a means of telling us to be docile about them doing bull crap. And we ain't going for that. Treat us better and ain't no cheek to turn. You understand what I'm saying? That's what it really comes down to. So that's my point of view. Got a lot of love for MLK, but I understand who wants to support what he does now after supporting his death 50 and 60 years ago. Them same people who want to throw his name up as a means of having us turn the other cheek against their attacks were attacking him. So they can go to hell with that. I think at the end of the day, we need to find a way to survive the crap that people do. If you're a person of color, you got to survive. And none of this is a perfect science. Some cases it's probably best to use the MLK way, and other times it's probably best to use the Malcolm X way, and other times it's probably best to use a third option. There's somewhere in between that probably, but the most important thing we need to do is survive. And so, unfortunately, MLK was not able to. They killed him in an act of violence. And I'm pretty sure if he could tell us how he felt after the fact, I'm pretty sure he would have wanted to defend himself better. That's the part you don't see. Is everything that led up to his death, he understood he was doing for the right reason. But once that bullet hit, and he was taken away from his family forever, and he didn't get a chance to raise his son and all that stuff, then you start wondering if he had something else to say after the fact. As we all wonder what the dead have to say after whatever they do leads to their demise. A lot of people say they're ready to die until they do, I'd imagine. A lot of people think risking their life is worth it until they have to, and they lose it. And we never get a chance to hear if there was something that they would be willing to do again, or if it made any sense at all. Survive. That's what comes to mind on MLK Day. Survive. And at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do, I'd imagine, or at least a lot of us. Some people are just reckless with their lives. And those same reckless people, I'd love to hear from them after they lose theirs, with their reckless behavior or their lack of care for themselves really was the way to go. Those who've unalived themselves, I want to know, did they really think that was the way to go in the grand scheme of things? Probably not. Probably not. Death is final, man. And even though I felt like unaliving myself a lot over the last 6 months, well, not lately, but in the early stages of what it is I've been going through, I definitely wanted to get the hell out of here. But I'm happy I didn't, at this point. I'm very happy I didn't. A lot of what it was I went through was worth living through. It may not have been feeling like it at the moment, but once you got through it, you came out of there with so much more strength, so much more to work with as it pertains to sharing with others and all of this other stuff, till you get to a point where it's like, man, whatever I was worried about, whatever I was considering, it wasn't as fruitful as what ultimately came about. And so that's what I want to tell all of you guys, man. Give yourself a chance. Maybe the life that you're in doesn't feel all that great. Maybe you want to quit. But, death is final, man. Death is final. You don't get an opportunity to do it twice. Once you make that commitment to either be too reckless to survive or do something that's going to get you out of the game or eat poorly all the way up until the end or whatever, you just got to understand, man, nobody has ever experienced death but those who passed away. And you ain't never get to hear their point of view, and that's just the way it is. So you got to take your life seriously. You ain't going to never hear their point of view. You'll never know what they thought after the fact. Everybody knows everything until it's over, and then it's like, uh-oh. Maybe there's an afterlife worth living. Maybe you go into the hell. Maybe there's nothing but darkness. Only people who know how the people who experience it and those who experience it cannot tell the story. So what I tell you is this. Don't quit. Don't risk that for which you can't get back. That's what I'm telling y'all. If it means turning the other cheek to do what's wise so that somebody doesn't do whatever, however, do that. If it means defending yourself, do that. But make sure you preserve what it is that you can't get back. And if you're going to die for a reason that you can live with, if that makes any sense. Protecting children, standing up for what's right, something that gives you a legacy that you can lay down and say, even though I can't see it, I'm proud of it. It's the only stuff worth dying over. Everything else, it'd probably be best to try to see if you can live to see the day where you have something like that be possible. A lot of us don't. A lot of us be willing to throw our lives away on stupid crap. People be killing each other over nothing. Life can't get back. You just out here risking your life over ego. Risking your life because you want to be cool with people who are evil. That doesn't add up. It don't add up. And everybody who's ever been through it ain't going to be able to tell you that you should not go through it. That you should not risk it. That you should not try that. Get your life out of that situation that ultimately ends your life. You're going to preserve your life so you can have an opportunity to give life, if you are biologically able to, or at least share life with those who are here. I've yet to become a father. I don't want to die at any point in time before being able to do that. Now, that's not within my control, but there are certain things I can do to mitigate those risks. And not being so egotistical, not eating poorly, continue to take care of myself to the best of my ability, drinking water, all those different things, I imagine they help. Regular checkups to the doctor, even though I haven't really lived up to that part of the point. You can, and you should. Regular things that if you have the high health care and where you're at, take advantage of that. Mental health, making sure that you are balancing your energy helps survive. Don't join that crew. Don't join that gang. Don't do what they do. Death ain't the only way to ruin your life. You can get thrown in prison. You can find yourself in a situation where you're locked down for long stints at a time. Maybe you already have children and you're pulling yourself away from them so you can't teach them how to stay away from those risks. And that's part of your job as a parent, to put them in a position to know what their options are so that they don't risk those options just being alive, not really valuing life itself. They put themselves in a position to not have a chance to pass on your lineage because of something stupid they do that you're supposed to teach them not to when you ain't around to do so because you took risks you shouldn't. These type of things, like, a lot of people don't care about stuff like that. They don't think like that. Too busy warped up in whatever cultures they are. Too busy warped up in whatever is acceptable around them, trying their best not to be outside of what it is, trying their best not to be broke or whatever. So many a rich man dead, man. Many. Whether they did something stupid to get that money or they did something stupid and let somebody try to get close to it and try to take it from them. Whatever the case may be, you got to be smarter than them. And their testimony is not there for you, because they didn't survive it. So I'm telling y'all, some mistakes you can't make twice. And as it pertains to putting money over the value of life, that could be a deadly mistake for a lot of us. And that's what a lot of us do. And we let society teach us to do that by way of the cultures that are put in place for us to do that. And what do we end up doing? We're risking the life, the only life you get. If you can get more money, there's always a way to get another dollar. It's always a way to come up. There's always some opportunity. But life, you lose that, you don't get that back. Your body deteriorating, going to the ground, you ain't coming back up. That's it. You don't get a chance to re-emerge. What's the word? Reanimate or whatever. You don't get to come back and reincarnate. Nah. Not as the you are, not with your family, not with your friends, not with your environment. You may come back as a bird or a dog or an ant or a roach or something. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no guarantee you're gonna come back a human. If you do believe in that sort of thing. So it's like, I don't know what the secrets are and stuff like that. I really don't. But what I can tell you is that you ruin the life you have, and the chances of you getting another one don't seem to be pretty high to me. So do something good with the one you have. The other people around you, and cherish the fact that they too have a life that they ain't getting it back. Maybe your mental health needs to improve so that you can appreciate people better. Maybe that's something to work on because of it. But if you understand the value of certain things, and you know something that can't be gotten back should probably be valued a lot. It's the reality of what I'm saying to you. If you can get something back, like the car can be repurchased, money and all this stuff you can re-earn. You know, maybe you can't necessarily get back that girlfriend, but you can get another one that you value just as much. A lot of things can be gotten back. But that life of yours, you spend your whole life not valuing life and then lose it before you realize it was something to value. That is the reality of many who've walked the earth and ain't walking no more. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying to y'all. And look, a lot of things are outside of our control. Anything can happen. You get hit by a stray, hit by a bus, struck by cancer, all different types of stuff. That's why you got to enjoy the moment you're in. A lot of people say treat every moment like it's your last. I think it's some medium, some balance to treating every moment like it's your last, and also understanding that a lot of people, when they treat every moment like it's their last, do things that risk their life because they don't feel like they're gonna have any more of it after that moment. But you gotta know who you are, know what you can deal with, because I promise you, if you risk your life thinking that you don't have no more days left, and you do something that gets you thrown in prison when you gonna live to see 100, it's a long time to be sitting around waiting for death, assuming that every day is your last. I don't think that's a perfect science. But do value the life you're in. Do value the life you're in. Do value the body you have. If it means exercising a little more, not drinking, not smoking, not ingesting all types of sugars or whatever, losing weight, pushing yourself to go to the gym today even though you don't feel like it. All these different things could put a little extra time on you. Time that's worth having for not only yourself, but for the people that care about you, for the people that may care about you later, of whom you've yet to meet. These are things that are worth it. You know what I mean? And then we got to value everyone else's life around us too, just like any other thing. When you take away something that's valuable, it's missed. And if it can't be replaced, then guess what you've done? You've taken something that can't be replaced and you've ruined it with your actions. Killing people, smoking cigarettes around people, secondhand smoke, feeding people poison just so you can get your wealth up. A lot of times we don't consider what we're actually doing when we take a life. The truth of the matter is, just like any one-of-a-kind painting or one-of-a-kind wardrobe, any one-of-a-kind type of art, if you go and set a fire to it, it's gone. And what have you done in that situation? You've destroyed the only one there was, one of one. You destroyed a one of one. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't gonna be no more of that person. They ain't never gonna come back around. You could try duplicating them a million different ways with cloning or whatever be possible with your science, but at the end of the day, you took a one-on-one off the earth. And somebody values that. If you believe in God, then you imagine he values that. If you believe that people are loved by their family members, and you know you took that one of one and made it so that it can never be replaced again. Took that one life that was in them and that spirit and whatever they attributes, whatever they strengths, whatever they different parts of their who they are. You didn't took that off the earth. You removed that. You don't look at that as a one of one painting or a one of one shoe or one of one car or whatever the case. Like anytime you kill anything, that's what you're doing. Ain't two of those. So it's like, understand the value of what it is that you're snatching from the world when you just are frivolous with lives and others and your own, you know. Because at the end of the day, all of us are just one of one. God don't make two of these. He doesn't. And that's why I tell everybody to value your own life, value your purpose. Even days that are boring and don't have a whole lot to them, understand what you are while you're in those moments, in those days. You are one of one while you're in those days. So give yourself a pat on the back. Say, man, ain't nobody else like me and won't be nobody else like me afterwards. Ain't gonna be another me no matter how many times this world spins around in circles. It's not. Once you gone, you gone. And when someone else comes in, they're the only one of them. So it's like, that's why I say, man, it's okay to be yourself. And maybe the world can't wrap their mind around you being yourself, being something they can't accept. But at the end of the day, it's only one of you. Only one. So that's what I have to say in the moment, man. Like I said, it's a wonderful day to celebrate MLK. But I think half of what he was doing was speaking to the ability to be pleased with the outcome. And the outcome ended with him not with us anymore. Outcome ended with him being pulled away from his family early in life. Didn't get a chance to raise his kids. I don't know if what he did and all he was trying to do really ultimately did what it was supposed to do. But he still should be appreciated for who he was and ultimately what his intentions were. Because at the end of the day, you only get one of one. And what he was trying to do is help us understand that all of us are one of a kind, whether we're this color, this religion, that religion, this creed, that creed. The reality was, they killed him off for that point of view. They didn't like him very much because of it. Whoever they were, they made sure he was gone because of it. Maybe his point of view should have been something else to preserve his life. Maybe there was another way forward that could have kept him giving out that message and not being shot. I think that's the way forward for a lot of us, especially if we value our lives properly. And I mean, they can martyr you, and maybe you're cool with that, but there are people who still need you. That's what I would have told Martin Luther King the day before he was dying. There's people who still need you. You got people on this, your son ain't gonna be raised right. Your daughter may not be able to protect herself, this, that, and the third. These are the type of things that are real in life. And you don't get the testimony of those who pass away. You don't get to hear what he felt about that afterward. You know what I mean? He stood for all of us. But he didn't get to stand for his own seeds after a while. It didn't get to a point where he could see them rise and grow up. Just like he had a responsibility to the rest of us, so too him responsibility to his family. How do we balance that risk when we want to stand for such big picture-ish? That's what I have to wonder about in regards to myself when I speak about certain things or when I stand for certain things, when I recklessly speak a certain way. But then again, I don't have any kids, so it gives me the ability to kind of go that way without thinking I'm leaving behind somebody I'm responsible for. And I think that's part of being responsible, is knowing what you're responsible for. But just the same, if your actions or your inactions can bring forth an environment that is unsafe for them, then you got to be able to properly define what protecting them really means. If you being quiet is going to put them in a position to be in a world that people don't care nothing about you or them, then how much safer are you leaving them when you're quiet? Even if it does risk your life. At some point in time, we got to understand that aspect of the game. It's always going to be an opportunity to stand for something, and you should. But at the end of the day, if it's going to cost you, you got to know what you're risking. You got to know what you're risking. You got to know that it's purposeful in regards to what it is that you ultimately need to see happen. And if not, you just sign up to be a martyr. And that holds no weight in the grand scheme of things. It really don't. Unless you made a mark like Dr. King, you better make damn sure that you're not risking the 101 in a situation where you can't see the bigger picture in regards to how much you want to be here and for whom. They want you to be here for them. So these are things that we have to balance out, try to figure out. Got to make it make sense. A lot of us ain't risking our lives for nothing good. Just a couple of dollars. Everybody getting a couple of dollars. That's the funny thing about life. It's perspective. Perspective to say a billionaire can give you every dollar you risking today and will refuse to just for the sake of capitalism. They will not give you a single dime. So you had better go out there and risk your 101 to get a fraction of what it is they have so you can overcome whatever poverty would otherwise be in your wake. Meanwhile, they have more than enough to give you, but they ain't giving you that. And why isn't it in their hearts to give you that? Because of capitalism. Capitalism is the same thing that allows people to watch people die in Gaza right now. Capitalism. We know it's wrong, but it's not responsible for us to do anything other than what it is that we all can get along in regards to doing, because if I do this, it may affect that, and if it affects that, then this falls apart, and if that falls apart, then something else falls apart. So it's only responsible for us to maintain our posturing regardless of what trickles down from that posturing, because we cover our backside legally and all different types of evil shit that ultimately we're seeing right now hit the fan with the hypocrisy of this land, trying to support Israel when Israel's out here killing up children and doing all types of psychotic shit. And I say these cuss words with a certain intention because I want people to understand how frustrated I am with this. I'm not cussing just to be cussing, man. I'm cussing because it's day 102. We celebrating Martin Luther King Day, and our country's celebrating a country and protecting a country while they are killing kids in the nighttime, making people suffer on purpose while everybody's watching without anyone holding them accountable for such. And they want me to sit back and say, hey, Martin Luther King Day, hey. Martin Luther King would have been standing with the people of Palestine, just like I'm sure he was then, because this has been going on longer than he passed. It's been going on for 75 years. Anybody that was aware of that occupation there, if you stood for real humanity, you didn't want to have nothing to do with Israel and their nonsense. Unfortunately, I just found out about it because they wasn't going to teach it to me in this country. The only thing they teach me about Israel is that they are the chosen people in the Bible and that they own everything, but you better not say they own everything because they're offended by that, and for some reason I should give a shit about offending them. Propaganda. So that we don't hold them accountable for the evil, psychotic nonsense that they were planning. And they want me to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King while the same people who are telling me to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King are funding this nonsense. That's what I'm saying. You got to make sure that your martyrdom is effective. They've turned Dr. Martin Luther King into a symbol of allowing people who want others to suffer to sit there and not be struck against, because Martin Luther King found a way, even though he also was struck by that bullet. It came his way. That's why I'm like, man, I don't buy the America's version of what Martin Luther King was about. I don't buy it. They only celebrate the man because he allows them to get away with the bullcrap they want to do. That's it. In theory, in regards to his image. We turn the other cheek. We don't fight back. Everything we do is with words. Meanwhile, they shooting bullets at people. They systematically starving people out. I'm saying? Dropping bombs and funding it and using rhetoric as if the people who are trying to stop them from doing it are horrible terrorists. These are the same people. Like, that's why I'm like, man, nah. What they've done to Martin's legacy is not, it's not what he stood for, man. And if he would have known how it was going to end for him, I'm pretty sure he would have did it something a little different. I don't think it would have went the way it went. He would have had more secure armed security around him. He would have had more opportunities to be hidden and all these different things that have saved his life so that he could spend time with his children. Not just be a symbol of what otherwise is allowing people to do whatever the hell they want to do. It's more to it than that. How you doing, man? And so that's what I'm here to tell y'all, man. We got to stand for something better. Shout out to Saya behind me, man. I'm a big fan of her work. I don't want to give her too much trouble, but I definitely recognize her, man. But like, Martin Luther King stood for more than what people were talking about, man. I'm telling y'all right now, it wasn't just as simple as turning the other cheek and letting people do whatever the hell they doing. It's more to it than that. You gotta love, live life, and love yourself enough to not let people harm you for what it is you standing for. And not let people silence you in the name of whatever, however, making the environment worse on yourself and your children. That's what it's about, man. I'm telling y'all the truth. Love, live life, but find balance between what it means to die for something and what happens after you do. Because it will take your image and the goodness that you were intending on doing, and it will tell a different story. And then they'll prop up people like Christopher freaking Columbus, like he was somebody other than freaking terrorists. They'll tell you who Osama bin Laden was, as if he wasn't somebody who was revealing to us exactly what the hell they were up to in the letter to America. Yeah, I read it, and so should you. Maybe he didn't have it all together. Maybe he was a CIA informant. I don't know. Because obviously the truth is hidden from me, but one thing I do know, everything he told us in that letter to America added the hell up. And you ain't gonna see no Osama bin Laden day. I guarantee you that. But that man put the concept in my mind to understand that they were able to benefit from every bit of sin that they invested in, because we were accustomed by way of our culture to align us with said sin. And as a result, they were able to benefit from every evil thing we ever want to do. That's somebody they told you was a terrorist telling you that, if you paid attention. That's somebody they told you was destroying you on 9/11 if you were paying attention. 9/11, 10/7. What's the difference? Tell me what the difference is. It's an inside job, man. That's obvious. Obvious. It's the same play. You know, you see a football team run the same play. They run the Hail Mary twice. That's the same play. We're going to hurt ourselves and then tell everybody we're interested in stopping somebody else who harmed us. And it was really us who harmed us, and we wanted an excuse to not be having any resistance to the bullying of others. So we paint them out to be bad guys and then proceed to strike them for striking us when it was really us that struck us. It's the same play. Israel did the same thing. Palestine didn't strike them. You can see the Palestine don't even have the means of doing so. You can see that in the way that they don't have the ability to protect themselves right now from all this nonsense. How the hell they strike them on the 10th, 10/7 or whatever the day is? You gotta look at things from a logical perspective when it comes to stuff. It's as simple as that. While you listen to what everybody's telling you. If they had the ability to do what they said they did on 10/7, they ain't had the ability to protect themselves from anything that happened after that. Hamas are the worst people in the world, but they couldn't protect themselves from all that happened after that. You didn't see no repeat strikes. They were able to blow up everything in Israel, except for after Israel destroyed them for 101 days. I guess they were just too afraid to strike back. Is that what Israel's trying to get me to believe? They couldn't touch you then, they can't touch you now. But you want me to believe somehow through I don't know what type of rhetoric that they trying to sell us on. We don't blame us, even though we the ones killing them. We not the ones killing them because they're using human shields, but human shields aren't really human shields because they're actually Hamas and nobody there is innocent, even though it's a bunch of kids that we're killing. Like, it's just a bunch of bullshit. And our president and vice president and the UN and Britain and everybody else is sitting up here saying, yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, of course, that's what it is. Israel says it is, and of course that's what it is. Why? Because they're our friends and we trust them. I don't trust you. Obviously shouldn't, clearly, since you trust them, and they out here killing children for 101 straight damn days in response to what they say was Israel being struck by them. When in reality, they can't strike Israel, because if they could strike Israel, they'd probably strike them to keep from dying, for which they haven't been able to. And nobody wants to use that type of logic. Nobody on the other side who's standing there saying, yeah, Israel has a right to defend itself, is willing to use that type of logic. Bro, if Israel is defending themselves, who are they defending themselves from? Because the people they striking has not struck back. The people they killing ain't been able to do nothing but die. So if they were so capable of doing all of this to these people, then where the hell is the recoil act from that terrorist group? Where's the strike back? You strike me, I strike back, then I strike back, right? Where's the strike? Where's Hamas's strike back? Ain't none. Why? Because it was an inside job. They cut themselves because they wanted to destroy the people they said cut them. When in reality, that's all they wanted to do was destroy the people they wanted to paint out to be bad guys. And that is exactly the play that 9/11 was. We blew up our own towers, and then proceeded to say it was Osama bin Laden and them who did it. And then proceeded to go over there and terrorize the hell out of them, occupy their place, put all kinds of stuff down. God knows what they was doing over there. Certainly wasn't feeding the poor. Certainly wasn't providing health care and everything that was otherwise being needed. They wasn't doing none of that. And we're supposed to celebrate that and think of Osama as the worst guy in the world, think of Gaddafi as the worst guy in the world, when all these people did with the time they were on earth was tell us how evil what we were doing was. And we weren't able to listen because they would never actually tell us what the truth was. So we just sit up there and listen to the Fox Newses and the CNNs tell us a bunch of lies and garbage, painting out the bad guy to be the good guy and the good guy to be the bad guy or the terrorist. When in reality, you can look around and see the results of the terror this country does to their own people. Look around. They got billions of dollars to send to Israel to destroy children, but ain't got nothing to give this man a place to live. Oh, I guess he don't fall into line with benefiting the country itself by paying taxes and being able to earn in the spirit of capitalism, so therefore they deserve to be in these situations, right? Give them $200 a month if they are able to apply for the GR, maybe make them wait for it for 6 and 7 months. Like, they're terrorizing their own damn people, man. But we ain't gonna match the words with the actions because we too busy wrapped up in the shining bright lights of the bullshitters telling us the bullshit. They got money, we value money. Yeah, but they're liars and they stole that money. They don't really have it if it was their merit from which the money was to be earned. It's not their merit, they stole that. They don't really have it. It's not really even there. Half of that stuff is stolen from the stock market, duplicated on itself. There's no gold that actually represents that money at all. And so what I'm telling you is, if you're in a country that has trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, how can we actually say we have any real money at all if you're in trillions and trillions of dollars in debt? Somebody tell me this. It's a fake it till you make it. Everybody knows that. But nobody knows that. You see what I'm saying? It's right there in your face, but you actually don't see it. It's like, I don't see that. Yeah, R. Kelly was touching kids, but I don't see that because he came out with, I believe, Like a Fly and Half on a Baby, so I don't see that. Yes, you see that. It's right there. He did it. He did it to Lee, he did it to this one, he did it to that one. There's camera footage right there. He did it. That's the type of dystopian cloak that we've been under. Shiny, bright, flashing celebrity lights. Fake it till you make it bullcrap. Knock off Jordans. All types of look. Like, that's what this is. And then we value money itself as if people who have it in this country actually have it represented in some merit. And they really, in most cases, just stealing it or being invested in by people who did. If I'm over it, man. You don't get to tell me that Palestinian lives don't matter, or that black lives don't matter, or whatever the hell type of nonsense people want to tell one another in this world. And then want to, on the other hand, say, well, Dr. Martin Luther King, you know, he wanted everybody. And you didn't care about everybody, just like you didn't care about him. That's why you murdered him. So that's pretty much what I got to say. My name is BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.